You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interrunti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey everyone, this is Walter and iWalter on iWalter on Sunday, January 3rd. It's hard to believe it's already that. It's that time again. Another year, I should say. Another January 3rd, whatever. At 8:52, I'm getting started a little bit later. I really wanted to do a show earlier, but I got up late and stuff, and I am here now. Let me turn off my speaker. I have a lot of stuff I actually was interested in talking about. It's just been really depressing. It's already the beginning of another year, and it's just aggravating already with other people for me. Just amazing how many people, I understand it's still technically for many the holidays. I'm sure there's kids on spring break, whatever, from college, but it's just so irritating how many people just feel like the world should revolve around them, and how they're being victimized, but yet when they treat other people like shit, you should tolerate it, but they're the ones being the victims. Even so, like, they can treat you like a piece of garbage, but you shouldn't do anything back, because that's not fair to them, because they've been victimized all their lives. And it just gets so fucking old after a while. I just question, when do people actually start to grow up? At this point, I don't think people ever learn how to do so. I was actually at the Buffalo Wild Wing tonight, and there's this one guy, I hate going in there. He's a younger guy, and he, for some reason, does not like me. I don't know why. Younger guy. He seems like he might be homosexual. And I was even leaving a message with a friend. I said, listen, you know what? Him, and there's another place I actually go to eat, this pizzeria. The guy actually admits to being gay and having a boyfriend. And I try to be nice to people. Hey, I try to be open-minded. I might not agree with their way of living or their personal preference for a partner, but I've always kept an open mind about that. Because I feel bad for people, for one thing, which I should not do. I understand. But those two individuals, treat me like a piece of shit every time I eat. And it's like, you're the one who is serving me. It's not the other way around, and you act like assholes. So to both those individuals, they really need to that's just like one in particular, need to grow up. Because it was funny, I went and seen, I'm skipping around already. I went to go see this movie called The Danish Girl. And it was like, yeah, this is an interesting film. Now, this is the part I say people, like, they act like they're being victimized. Well, this is a story of the first person who was a transsexual or transgender. I really don't know the difference, honestly. One means an individual who feels like they needed to be, or most of the time, are homosexuals that feel like they were born the wrong sex. Or you got the other one where they just dress up in drag or in female clothes and pretend to be women, but they're really men that are sexually interested in other men. I don't fit any of those credentials. I keep an open mind. I went and seen this film. I always have kept an open mind with things. But in this film, the guy portraying this character at one point in the film got beaten up by straight men. And it's like, okay, I don't do this stuff, but just as a heads up, with these individual guys, if you act like you're arrogant and pompous and have a chip on your shoulder for people who are trying to be nice to you, eventually you're going to end up like that guy in that film and get severely beaten, not because you're minding your own business, but more or less just because you're being an asshole. That's the bottom line. If you act like an asshole and you go out of your way to be one, people pick up on that, and they don't really appreciate that. And if you're got a reason on top of that, for them to want to criticize you or beat the shit out of you, you're just giving them one. I don't try to leave an open invitation and just try to start trouble with people. So I generally, in return, don't have any problems with anyone of any sort of, like lifestyle. But these two individuals, separate people, seemed like they don't realize this. They don't understand that, hey, this guy's being creepy. I'm being nice to you. There's a big difference. Being a creep, you're going to find out the hard way. You're going to find yourself on the floor when you're like knocked out by somebody who just does not appreciate your arrogance. So, doubt they'll ever hear this, but they're finding out, and I'll see when I don't see them around, or they come with a black and blue eye, and they wonder why that happened. It was like, well, you maybe should have been a little less arrogant, and that probably would have not happened. Anyway, on a lighter note, I have a bunch of stories I've been wanting to read. I actually try to reach out on his Twitter page. I doubt it's going to get me anywhere, to Kevin Smith, but he actually should be start doing his scouting at the Exton Mall, I would believe. He hasn't posted anything on his Twitter page. He actually uses Twitter more so than anything else. He has other media sources, but Twitter is his main one. And that being said, I just kind of tweeted out to him, not as going to get me anywhere. Hey, when you start shooting at Exton, if I'm still, he doesn't, tweets have to be so freaking short, it's just ridiculous. I just said, I'm interested in helping out. Basically, even being just an extra would be fine for me. But he hasn't mentioned anything about this mall brats, as he calls it. I am definitely interested. I think it'd be pretty cool because he's actually shooting not too far from my house, probably like 35 minutes from home. So I could actually do it if I'm not working, which is kind of interesting because now I'm going on 4 months of being technically having a job with no work involved, which I'm not complaining. I do reach out. I did reach out last year. I suspect this is going to go on for quite a while still. Am I thrilled about it? Not really. Am I complaining? Not really. That being said, this would actually give me time if Kevin Smith does start to shoot his film. Hey, he's looking for extras. I could actually do it because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do so. One thing was interesting. I actually, surprisingly, almost made close to, for not working for at least 3 months, still clear with my paychecks and stuff. My gross was almost $70,000. So that I'm not complaining about. So as long as I get an income, I got health insurance. Physically, I'm fine because I haven't been stressed out or killing myself at a job that does not appreciate what I do. Well, they seem to now, though, because I can't complain about that. They're actually giving me a paycheck every week. So, and I actually had to save 2 weeks of my vacation time for the end of the year because we had in the building I was working a shutdown, which apparently I think they just had to pay me out for that for my last paycheck of the year, which I do appreciate that. I appreciate the job doing what they have done for me so far. I just would like to know how long this is going to last. Trust me, I am not complaining because I appreciate awesome. I have 2 older brothers. They actually reached out to me during the holidays, which are technically over now, and had told me that they were listening to part of one of my shows, which was one of my longer ones. I did one with friend Ryan Cranston, and he actually recommended something too. I got to look for that. A movie. I asked him, "Hey, what should I? Could you recommend any good horror movies?" That's a different story. So they reached out. I really appreciated that, and yeah, I'm trying to look for the movie I rented that Ryan had recommended. I thought it'd be easier than it is. So I'm going to look on my Facebook. So anyway, yeah, I appreciate it. But it looked like they were, maybe one more than the other of my brothers, seemed like he, I love my brothers. They've always been there, when I needed them in the past when I was younger. My one brother, my mother was really upset. She was actually crying. I heard. I wasn't home to see it. My one brother looked like he has really gone through a lot of stress in his life. He looked like he aged quite a bit in a short period of time. My father says that just happens when you get older. Well, I've gotten older too, but I haven't, aged as quickly as my one brother did. And again, just a really brief amount of time. So we were both really concerned, my mother and I, about that. So that being said, that's why I'm not complaining about being out of work as long as I have. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I do want to go back and I want to become one of these deadbeat losers who just, I have a story already lined up about that too, who just actually enjoy living on welfare, and which I'm not, and feel like everything should be handed to them on a silver platter and they shouldn't have to do a damn thing about it. It's just their American right just to sit there and do absolutely nothing and be complete worthless pieces of shit. That will not be me, I hope. No, I don't think it will be. Anyway, the film that was recommended by Ryan, let me make sure I get his name right in case he does listen in. I don't do it deliberately, but I do mess up names. Ryan Vincent Logsdon. He actually did a really good interview with me. He did help me facilitate it because I haven't done one with anybody in such a long time. I was afraid I wouldn't do well. Ryan was a big help. Also, Todd was too, because he actually did one with me the next day, and I do appreciate that as well. So I thank both those guys. I would hope to get some more people who would be interested in doing interviews with me. It definitely makes the show run more smoothly. Anyway, I asked Ryan because he was telling me stuff off the air, because the show was actually 3 hours we did together, and I appreciate that. The one with Todd was 45 minutes, or 37 minutes, actually. No jokes. So that's a Kevin Smith ongoing joke with the 37 number, but his was literally 37 minutes, and Ryan's was just tad shy of 3 hours. Yeah, it was a little over 3 hours. Anyway, Ryan was telling me all this stuff. I didn't realize it was in this one film he recommended, and I forgot the name, so I think I drove Ryan nuts, which I apologize. He was talking about all this different stuff. They were actually the segments of this film called the Theater Bazaar. It's a independent film. It looks like it's kind of shot on video, high definition video. But despite that, because I'm always leery about films shot on that, were shot on high definition video because it just looks like it was. This one obviously did, but the storylines were really good. It was, I think, either 4 or 5 short stories, all of them, which I can say most of them, actually all of them weren't bad. Some were better than others. I would recommend that. That was the one I have to thank Ryan for. The very last one Ryan didn't like. I agreed with him. He kind of said, I'm trying to say what he mentioned about it. I said it was either cannibals or ghouls was the premise of this last story. And he basically said that cannibals, yes, I don't dig the first story. He didn't like, there's like 4 or 5 stories. The first one was Mother of Toads. I actually did like that one, some parts of it. I thought it was pretty interesting. All of them are very quirky. Well, actually, most of them are very quirky. At least 2 out of the 5 were not. But he said on the other hand, I did love them all. Glad you enjoyed the flick. And I did actually. 2 of them that really reached a sense of spot with me. One pulled a heartstring. The other one just way too close to home was with this guy who had married this woman who lost interest in him right away. And it's like, okay, that's been the story of every relationship I've ever been in with a woman. And that's all I've been in, by the way. The fact that most of them are like gun-ho to have a relationship with me. And that's the storyline with this one story. Not with me, but I mean with the characters. And the woman basically just lost total interest in her husband, not even her boyfriend, her husband. And she said, well, since we've been married, I was really into it at first. I lost interest in you, and I've been basically, in layman's terms, screwing every guy under the sun, and I don't even try to wash off the smell of the sex that I have with guys. She basically called the guy a wuss, like a pussy. He was very weak-hearted. That's why I do it, because you haven't ever gave me a orgasm, blah, blah, blah. And she gave the lines that I've heard from every relationship I've been in with every girl. It's not you, it's me. I've heard that a million fucking times, and that's just the classic one that every fucking girl and woman uses. The actress did an incredible job, who played, like, basically not only a tramp, or as he even might have put, a tramp, or basically the character she played was a real piece of shit. Had no emotions for anybody, and only was concerned about her needs, nobody else's. Even she didn't care that she hurt people. The character she played, so it was really good. I had a very twisted end, and these shorts are only like 10 minutes long, if that, maybe 10 or 15. But that one was really, again, close to home, because this woman was just blaming this guy for, hey, that's the person. Well, she was like lightheartedly blaming herself. Well, that's just the kind of person I am. I can't help myself. I just like to fuck guys, and I lost interest in you. I don't even know why I married you, because you're not actually doing it for me. So, I'd recommend that one. The other one that pulled the heartstrings for me on this Thriller Bizarre was, it was very close to home. It was a little girl and her mom, and they didn't really tell you till the very end what was happening. They did like flashbacks back and forth, but the premise was a girl encountered a car accident, or actually a motorcycle accident, with a father and son as they were driving. And this one was very realistic, as well as the one with the cheating wife, simply because what happened was, they were nice people. They're riding a bike. They drive past, this mom and this daughter. The son was really nice, waving at the daughter. And you find out that both of them get in a motorcycle accident because of a deer. And I've had that more than once. And I had to actually, I think, an aunt's boyfriend get killed from a deer running out in front of their car. And I actually had cousins that actually almost got killed from deer just running out in front of the car. So that is something that everybody not only can relate to, it's just that much more heart-wrenching to see it being placed into, into an actual story. And that being said, it was really heart-wrenching. The girl was asking her mother questions. She didn't understand death. It was actually, it was in this list of horror shorts, which this was actually not a horror story. It was more of an emotional one. And trust me, it really did break me up just to see that. It was the most intriguing and disturbing one out of them all, just because, again, it was so, to say the least, realistic on its values. But again, I've also been there when, I've been on the receiving end of being the guy who's been considered the dope, being taken advantage of, basically taken advantage of for, basically drain me dry of what kind of money I have, just for the sole purpose of the woman taking advantage of me. And then when she's done with me, she throws me out like a piece of chewed leather. So that other story, like I said, there was 3 other ones. The Toad one, like I said, was the one Ryan liked least. And besides that, there was another 2 stories, I do believe. I won't go into great detail. Again, don't go in there expecting to see a theatrical film. These are like very, actually, I won't say simple stories, because they're actually really good, but shot for the least amount of money, but they were really well-written storylines. The one I have to pick one that was done my least favorite. I can't remember his name. He was in, he's a director and a writer. He's a director, writer, and makeup artist. Also responsible for Friday the 13th, Dusk for Dawn, Night of the Living Dead, I think. Not the original one. Maybe Dawn of the Dead. Let me see. Makeup artist for... I'm going to see, because he's not... Oh, here he is. It actually came right up. Tom Savini. Tom Savini can be, because I met him in person, he's not a very friendly person. I understood by Ryan that he gets tired of hearing the same questions over and over again. So he goes to these like conventions, but he doesn't really want to hear about it. You know, people to ask him, oh, about this, or because it's always the same questions or generally get. He's a very big womanizer, though, but the man is, to say the least, he's very intelligent. He's a very smart man. You know, he also did Maniac. I'll have to watch that. I think the original one is what they're referring to, because it said cult classics like Friday the 13th, Part 1. So he did do Part 1 and 4, Maniac, The Burning, and The Prowler, amongst other ones. He's really well known for doing both or all three things. He's a very smart man. He actually did a short in that film I mentioned of Theater Bizarre, but it was my least favorite too, because he just goes with what he knows best, which is making gory, you know, besides directing and stuff, making gory scenes in films. And it's just like, no offense, that's been done so many freaking times. It's just old. So seeing these other stories by these other directors was like really refreshing, because it was actually something obviously that did not need to depend on gore just to make a point. So, you know, again, that being said, I had enough of that. I don't need to see more gore just to make a point. Actually, yeah, there was one with a girl, I remember now. There was another one. I forget which ones I'll be missing. There was one with cannibals. The Savini one. That's number 2. One with a frog woman. She was actually a witch as well. Who actually had a copy of the original Necronomicon. That was the first one. The one with the little girl. And the guy who basically had a wife who was... basically had no heart at all. I'm trying to think. I thought there was also another one too. Okay. Yeah, there was a girl who was basically some type, not a normal one. This is the one Ryan told me about, but she basically was some type of addict, you know, a drug addict, but not actually your conventional drug addict. She was getting high on other people's last minutes of life. Like she would, and it was strictly women that, or girls, women, whatever. She would stake out women. She was a serial killer too on this other one. She would kill women, in some sense of the word, kill them, and then she would withdraw the fluid from their eyes, their one eye, that would actually capture their last few moments of life. You know, when their life would flash before their eyes before they actually would die. And she would inject that into her eye socket, and she would actually get high on other people's last moments of life. It sounds really weird. It was definitely interesting. I'll be honest with you. I was completely not watching that one. This Tom Savini one was also one I could not look at. It was just too intense for me to watch, even for a video shot film. But it was definitely something I would say would be a must see. Don't just don't put your expectations high, because it's not going to look like film. It's going to look like video. It's like somebody shot it on video. But either way, it was really well executed. No puns with the words. Anyway, Todd had actually sent me this a while back, so I'm actually coming up with it now. And it's just after what I've seen tonight, what I experienced. It's why I don't like to deal with people in general, because I'm so annoyed. Now, this one actually goes back a ways, too, because it was actually... My friend Todd gave it to me just a day or so ago, but it was actually dated back April 17th of 2015. And it was from Joe for America, Joe the Plumber. He has his own webpage. And it says, welfare queen demands taxpayers pay $15,000 for a wedding, for her to get married. This woman who she wants like her dream wedding, and she wants us to pay for it, basically. And, you can see this article. It is on my Facebook page. But this woman, she couldn't get a job. The only job she did hold, I think, was, they said the only job before she actually went on welfare, she was at the age of 19. I have a picture of this woman and her fiance. She is not 19 anymore. I would assume she's got to be in her somewhere in her 30s or 40s. But she literally expects, like, she's been living on welfare, then, if I'm correct, for at least 20 or 30 years. She's never worked a day in her life, and she couldn't get a job because she's overweight, and she's not even that heavy. I've seen people that are heavier than her. She's not thin, but I've seen women that are actually more rotund than her that could land a job. So it's just basically she's lazy. She's never worked technically a day in her life, and now she expects for the taxpayers, us, to pay for her wedding and pay for a $15,000 wedding for her to have. And somewhere in this article, it gets even more interesting. She also wants, in addition to the $15,000, an additional $3,000 to cover her honeymoon that she wants to take place in Mexico. And it's like, okay, I feel bad for the situation I'm in, but this is not between me and the taxpayers. This is between me and my company. So it's not like it's not right either way, because I know I'll hear that from somebody. But the point is, it's not right that there is millions of people out there in this country right now who are exactly like this woman here, who basically just feel like that, us as human beings need to cater to their every need. And that's like total bullshit to me. That needs to actually stop. So I'm just stating that out now. Alrighty, at this point, I'm just going to probably go in non... I can't even think of the right word, like non-consecutive order, or not consecutive order, but in order that would make sense on stories. I will try my best to keep them that way, but I doubt it will happen. I think Todd had sent me this the other day, my friend Todd, or I might have found it, and it was from Lottery. It's called LOL Gallery infotation.com or .me actually, and it says lottery winner dies after gold plating his testicles. So I just think that's just ridiculous. It says his fullest decision to get gold-plated balls was inspired from his favorite movie, Goldmember. So this guy won the lottery, and it says breaking overnight, Atlanta jackpot winner dies after getting his testicles basically gold-plated, and it was a clip from a CNN. These are more of these idiots we have in our country that... we're on a sinking ship, literally. Our country's on a sinking ship, and we got a president who is just the head of the Nazi regime, worse than what Hitler would have done, and everybody just seems to follow him like they're just blind to the fact that what he's doing is destroying our fucking country. To me alone is just really sad that people are that freaking stupid. Todd did send me this one tonight, this next article I'm going to read. It's from PIX11. Family catches naked man wearing Ronald Reagan mask lurking outside his home. This was in Alabama. The family in Alabama is unnerved after catching a naked man wearing a presidential mask creeping outside their home, according to the AL.com. So, yeah, that was on there. I don't know what people are thinking. Obviously, they have way too much time on their hands to do stupid shit like this. And, could call themselves victims in the process, I'm sure. So, I am going to try to get these in a little bit of an order. Oh, this was a sad one. Todd was kind of making a joke out of my friend Todd, but it is really heartbreaking to see it, of a kitten, newborn, almost practically newborn kitten that was dyed purple just to make into a chew toy for another animal. It's a Smurf kitten rescued after being dyed purple, used as a chew toy. That's actually what it did say on Fox 29 News. This was from the other day, and it was from Redwood City, California. Again, some more deadbeats and lowlifes who can just do whatever they want, and most likely nothing will come their way. I do believe in karma. My one friend Todd always taught me that, and hopefully whoever did this to this poor animal will get paid back sevenfold. Saying that, someone dyed a 7-week-old kitten purple and may have used the 1 pound, 10-ounce animal to chew as a chew toy for a dog. And the poor cat is literally got holes in it, like chew marks. So that is completely pathetic. The poor thing. Hopefully they can fix whatever this poor cat went through. Speaking of that, there was another story. I hope I didn't shut that down. That was really, I'm not much on animals. I'm not much for dogs, but I had to I read this one story from the Daily Mail, and it actually had me in tears. I'm not even joking. And it takes a lot for me to get upset about a dog getting tortured or whatever. Anyway, it says, and this truly is the case. I'll read the bullet points. They have a video of the poor dog, little female dog, and the dog was so extremely abused. It was making the most scary sounds I've ever heard from an animal. It wasn't even like an animal sound. It was just like this dog was beyond petrified to even be touched because it was so severely abused. And again, this is the kind of stuff, and most of these stories, I don't know about this one, they mostly come from the U.S., even from the ones in England, because, the UK is an English paper. So anyway, it was on the Daily Mail again. I think this was January 2nd, it says. So it was yesterday. Heartbreaking cries of an abandoned dog that had been abused for so long it didn't even know how to react when it was shown affection for the first time. I'm telling you, I could not make it through that video, folks. Priscilla, the puppy, is seen crying when stroked at a shelter in Romania. So this time it was not in the U.S. The 2-minute clip then shows the dog slowly getting used to affection. The final scene, pup plays with its handler after it interacts with another dog. Yes, it's got a lot of pictures. The video is just really, really hard to get through. This poor dog, Priscilla. And it just makes you wonder, like, animals aren't too far and humans are pretty much, as far as emotions go, they're on the same line. We take for granted that animals all types of creatures do have emotions and they do feel pain. And this actually does show that. And it just makes you wonder if an animal can be that torn apart emotionally. Imagine people that are treated like that, human beings as well. I mean, that just really got me on many different levels. I just had to mention that one. I'm trying to keep these pretty consistent because I did have another animal one, by the way, too. Oh, yeah, here we go. It was on Daily Mail, so this is perfect. That's pretty weird. Anyway, I'm sorry. I have to start watching this again. Side note for a minute, I got an advertisement from Amazon.com on the Daily Mail for this show called Girl Meets World. It actually is a really good show. Just to do a plug on that, there was one episode. I used to like Boy Meets World, and I didn't watch them all. I bought the whole series because when I was younger, I used to watch that on occasions, and I really liked it. And I was kind of leery about Girl Meets World. The one that really just kind of put like, hey, you got to watch the show. This is really good. It's a kid show on Disney. Was actually the one where the main character on Girl Meets World, she does one about bullying, and the bully is a third person. Like, you don't see the bully in the episode, but the bully is referred to and how it affects her emotionally, physically, and mentally. And it's a third person that you actually are living or seeing through the eyes of how she's being tormented, and how it eventually you become, you don't actually ever, again, because it's a third person that is never seen, of the bully. And that one actually had me in tears. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what, I got to actually give this show a second chance. Kid show or not, I'm going to watch it. It was incredible. So anyway, I'm going to go back, just kind of throw that plug out real quick. And I had some other things I just thought of. I didn't actually put on my list of things to talk about. This story from the Daily Mail was another animal one. It says, farmhand 21 jailed after being caught having sex with a female donkey because his private parts were out of control. Yeah, this has definitely got to be a different country because I can't even begin to pronounce the name on this one. This 21-year-old caught having sex with a female donkey last year claimed to police that his privates were out of control after being caught. Again, I can't pronounce their name. Was sentenced to probation, counseling, and fined $422 or $42. But he is now serving 30 days sentence after begging a judge to jail him. So definitely a weird and interesting article. This guy is blaming his testicles or his private parts for having sex with a mule. I thought I've heard everything with that one. Actually, I saw this not an animal store. I'm done with those as far as I know now. Actually, this was today. It was on a web link called 100%fedup.com. Disgraceful U.S. Air Force can no longer afford 21 gun salute at vet's funeral. Plenty of funds, though, for Muslim immigrants. So the money that was going towards the military is now being used for Muslim immigrants instead. So it's really sad. I'm going to try to read the bullet point, see what it says right now. We can't afford to give our U.S. veterans proper funerals, but we've got money to burn when it comes to bringing Muslim refugees to the U.S. from countries who hate us. On average, each Middle Eastern refugee settled in the United States costing an estimated $64,370 in the first 5 years, or $257.481 per household. So, yeah, we have plenty of money for these refugees, but not for our men who keep us safe, which is really sad. Here's another article from the Daily Mail, by the way. Saudi. Now, this is not about animals or any, but it's definitely caught my attention. Saudi Arabia severs diplomatic ties with Iran over storming of their embassy after execution of the Shiite cleric who, with officials ordered to leave within 48 hours. So, the whole freaking country, world is in chaos, and it just seems it's amazing how much our president is probably solely responsible, who just basically tore the fabric of our society and everyone else's. You never really think that some other diplomat from another country, that being ours this time, can actually cause chaos across the globe. I mean, if you really think about it, that's what happened with Adolf Hitler and some other ones. It was one person who actually caused havoc around the world. It's amazing. Saudi Arabian foreign minister announces the end of the relations with Iran. That was a bullet point. Iranian diplomats give 48 hours to leave the embassy in Saudi Arabia. Bullet point number 2. Number 3 is Saudi Arabia's embassy in Tehran set on fire after the Shiites cleric executed. And the last one is it executed Shiite Niran al-Manir and 46 others by firing squad and beheading. So I apologize, I kind of screwed that up. But yeah, I mean, this is really scary that you have somebody in our country who is, what do you call it? The person in command, commander in chief, and he is such a mess. and we're too afraid to touch him because he's quote unquote an African American, and we can't deal with that of calling out of fear of being called racist. And he has caused chaos not only in our country, and I think I would hold him accountable, well, Hillary Clinton too, and the rest of those idiots. But it's sad that it's just caused a ripple effect throughout the world. I mean, at this point, that's my opinion. I know that, but I stand behind that one too. Here's another one. Passes for America, standing with the Constitution. It's overpassforamerica.com. Excuse me. Let me say that. Liberalism has caused the Islamic invasion of Europe. Hashtag 04A, hashtag news, hashtag Islam. So I'm telling you, I think it's this demon seed started in our country with this one man, our commander in chief. Liberalism is an ideology of Western suicide, wrote James Burham in 1960 in his 1964 Suicide of the West. I kind of obviously I know I said that name wrong. This is an article. I won't go into depth because I'll just really screw it up. But I just like the title at least. That how liberalism will destroy the world. I mean, it's already destroyed the U.S. Now you got these bleeding heart liberals in Europe, Western Europe, and that is just collapsing now as well. If you're interested, that article says Monday, January 4th, but actually it's not because this is obviously from a different country, this article. Oh, actually, I apologize. That article it is dated for Monday. We're not into Monday yet. It could even actually be from the West Coast for all I know, this paper. I would probably, it's got to be West Coast because it does say America. I apologize. Anyway, it was dated, this particular article was back in September on the 8th, 2015 at 2:02 p.m. Now, this was a couple months ago, but now it actually has gotten much worse. Far beyond what anybody ever expected. I got a couple photos from Facebook. I kind of highlighted. One is it's a picture of a totally destroyed area for these refugees, and it says this is a Muslim refugee camp, and it's in France. It's a Calais or something. And it says, so if you ever wonder why the Middle East is a burned out wreck, now you know. And it's just basically a totally demolished area where they let these refugees, basically establish themselves, and they completely destroyed the place. It looks like a junkyard. I'm not even kidding. And that picture I did post on my Facebook page as well. This was really sad on the Daily Mail. This mail, I think this was actually from yesterday, our time. Actually, it was 2 days ago. I saw this and I wanted to mention this. Now I'm actually doing a solo project, back to the way iWalter always has been. And it says, running man Philip Weber, 55, who clocked up to 5,200 miles a year pounding the streets of Virginia, dies after being hit by an SUV while jogging. So here we go, back in the U.S. again, even though it's in the U.K. paper. Philip Weber, a moving fixture of the Charlottesville, Virginia, died after he was struck and killed by an SUV early today. Well, that was 2 days ago. Investigators said that he died at the scene, and his death has since left Charlottesville heartbroken. The runner was unknown to those in the community as was known in the community as the running man, and in his lifetime, he reportedly ran over 125,000 miles. That's impressive. You could see in his face his age, but his body, though, obviously from all that running, he kept himself in really good shape. Really, really good shape. It's a shame. And I'm telling you, people, I almost got hit tonight. When I went and seen that movie right at the movie theater, pedestrians walking across the street from your car to the front of the movie theater. I went to the one, it's in Oaks. One lady was really nice. She stopped for me to let me cross the road, but it was a guy in a car, and he just basically races right by me and runs me over. And if once was enough, the same person turned and ran right into me, almost running me over a second time. And there was plenty of witnesses. It's like, and he had no turn signal. And it's like, no offense, in Pennsylvania or most states, pedestrians have the right of way to walk across a localized area, especially a movie house. And the guy didn't care. He was ready to run me over. So twice. So, I mean, that just shows you, I'm not surprised this guy got killed by an SUV, because these people are very inconsiderate. I felt, here's another article I have. I'm reading my next one. Fox 29 News. And you know what? I have no remorse for this, or whatever you want to call it, but it says Fox 29 in local news. This article says 190 Muslims fired after plant over prayer dispute. Well, you know what? This is another thing. We cater to every fucking thing these illegals want, these Muslim people that come to our country and just basically dictate to us what religion we should be practicing, even though, the United States is made up on freedom of speech, freedom of religion. In such a short period of time, the past 8 years, we have that idiot president of President Barack Obama, who just now let these infestations of these Muslims take over our country and dictate to us how we fucking should be, how we should think, and and other things. I mean, it just really just drives me nuts. This was in Fort Morgan. What is CO? Colorado. It says in all 190 Muslim workers at this place called Cargill Meat plant in Fort Morgan have been fired, and it comes as a result over a dispute on prayer. Like, they wanted their time to be able to pray during work time. And it's like, no offense, you come to our country, and you take over everything. You dictate to us what is feasible and what is not. We have no say in it. And yet, if we go to your fucking country, you're going to tell us that we can't do the same thing to you, but you can do it to us in our own fucking country. So I hate to say it, good riddance. I'm glad that fucking company fired these people. And I have no remorse over these people. I know that's not the appropriate word to use. I just think it's really ridiculous. And I'm sure there's going to be some way, because we have such a weak country now, they're going to find some way, well, that's discriminatory. The only ones getting discriminated upon is us, not them. Yeah, it says they are they're like from Somalia, or how you say that, who came over to Colorado to work. But this week, their employers at Cargill Meat Solutions fired many of them after refusing to show up for the 3 days in protest. And it doesn't matter if they have a job. My religion is more important, says Tony Adden, a fired worker. Well, you know what? That's your thing. You know what? They don't have to hire you. When you take a job, especially in this fucking country, they don't abide by your rules, Mr. What was that guy's name? Tony, whatever. You got to abide by their rules. They're not hiring you like it's a privilege for them to hire you. No, it's a privilege. You got a fucking job, you asshole. The company says the dispute began earlier this month when 11 Somalians wanted to pray all at one time. The company then said no, because it would stop the operations. Yeah, no shit. So these Somalians were fighting over that. Nearly 200 others to stop work in protest. So news led. Well, you know what? I blame the companies too, because there's plenty of people that are just sitting on their ass, not working in this fucking country, and you go hire people from another country, and then you wonder why you don't have good workers. Well, there you go. It says now fired after they received help applying for the unemployment compensation with the assistance of the fellow Somalians who is upset with the firings. Well, they should have been fired. They should have never been hired. It's got things to do. They have a quote here. I apologize. I'm not doing a very good job reading it. It's got things to do with Donald Trump. It's got things to do with Ben Carson. Now they're throwing him in the mix. And all these guys who are theoretically talking about bad about Islam. See, there's the blame game now that I mentioned before. There's a blame game in here. So they're blaming both Trump and Ben Carson for why these Somalians got fired from a job because they wanted to, 200 of them wanted to pray all at once at the same time, and they wanted their prayer breaks whenever they needed to do them. So I think that's just completely ridiculous. In fact, you know what? I won't even read any more of the story. I think it's just it's sad that our country just buckles to idiots like that, but it's not going to change. It is not going to change. That's the bottom line. Here's another one. I might have actually already read this. It's from Overpass for America. I did read something from them before. Majority of American Muslims want Syria over the Constitution. Sahara over the Constitution. Hashtag 04A. Hashtag news. Hashtag Islam. Hashtag Syria. Hashtag America. Isn't that what I kind of just said, folks? That they're just basically, these people, these foreigners, they're not even legal citizens, basically dictate to us how we should think and act. It's not the other way around. And they come to our country uninvited, and yet we cater to them like they deserve. We should, cater to them like we're the outsiders. That's bullshit. Muslims around the world profess their love for the Sahara Law, but what do American Muslims believe? Well, here's a whole article and what I basically said in my own words. The Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, which has been most vocal in its calls for Carson's withdrawal from the GOP presidential race, claims to speak for American Muslims. So, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to read this one either because this is going to really piss me off. There's a picture, though. It says, U.S. border. You are entering a Sahara-free zone. Please set your watches forward 1,400 years. And it's actually on a road sign. Not Sahara, but it's Sierra. Sierra law, or whatever you call it, Sahara law. There's another one. It says it's a caption. It says you will have no choice. Sahara law is coming to a place near you. So there you go. It's exactly what I said. Look at this article I posted. Overpass for America, standing with the Constitution. And again, it's titled Majority of American Muslims Want the Sahara law over the Constitution. So we are totally being torn from the inside out at this point. No thanks to our fucking president, who's a total douchebag. There's no other way to put it. I posted this one. I did not read anything I have up. It is on Trump, but it was from Breitbart, so I'm trying to hope it's not tearing the man apart. So I'll read the bullet point in the title and leave the rest for everybody else. Trump rejects Obama's execution gun control. Basically, he's tired of people blaming guns. And I agree with that. My friend Todd's brother, Paul, actually was talking about this. I wasn't sure about it. So here was an article from the other day, and it says, in a preview of a larger interview that will air during the Nation on January 3rd, which is tonight, Republican presidential hopeful Donald Trump said he does not like Obama's efforts at executive gun control and is tired of people blaming guns for America's ills. And I agree with that. So I didn't know that, so I apologize. I probably missed it. I would have actually listened to that and responded to that as well. Okay, my stories actually will kind of lighten up after a while. I think I got rid of my worst of the worst, the ones that piss me off. Yeah, because I got to hear a law more than once. I'm just checking, folks, to make sure. Oh, actually, okay, I am done. Oh, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Like some of the really bad stories. I mean, these aren't any better, but they are actually winding down. My friend Todd sent me this other day. I finally looked at the video, and it was the most painful thing to watch on PIX 11. It says it's titled "See It." Horrifying video shows bed bug infestation at Astor on the Park Hotel. Now, this is in Manhattan, by the way. In Manhattan, those hotels are very freaking expensive. So it says Upper West Side Manhattan, actually. A couple from California thought they were on a vacation to remember for the rest of their lives. But now they will remember it for all the wrong reasons because of the horrific bed bug infestation in the Central Park Hotel. Now, Central Park Hotel is very, very expensive. And this guy shoots really good video, and I felt bad for him and his girlfriend. He shot pictures of his girlfriend. Her back, her stomach, her arm was filled with welts. And he actually pulls the mattress off the bed. He said it was the third room he had in his hotel in Manhattan. And they were like thumb-sized bugs crawling on all over the bed. They were like, literally, he got a pen and pointed at them, and the bugs were like running all over the place on the mattress that he slept on. And he said it was the third room they placed him in because the heater wasn't working in the room. There was no heat. So they gave him electric heater. The outlets were dysfunctional, and obviously it was filled with bugs, literally. The mattress was black, mostly all over the place, with these little running critters all over the place. So this guy, he actually shot a video. He put it on YouTube. Skin crawling sights of hundreds of bed bugs scurrying in the seams of the mattress at the Astor on Park Hotel in Central Park West. The man explains that the room was the third one, which I already mentioned. He and his girlfriend had been in after the first room did not have heat or power outlets, and the second room did not work as well. The guy claims, aside from the bed bugs in the third room, there was also no heat, which actually apparently I think all three rooms did not have. It says that his girlfriend suffered at least 75 bites on her hands, arms, and feet and stomach from the bugs. And he says the whole ordeal ruined their holidays in New York. Yeah, because you know what? New Year's Eve, that's where people like to go. I was actually considered go up to New Year's Eve. So in some ways, I actually went to Wilkes-Barre to do these interviews. I'm kind of glad I did. Because that was a nightmare. And the place I stayed, extended stay, was incredible. It was very clean, very nice. And I did not have bed bugs. So it was great. And I had working heat. My friend Todd actually sent me this the other day, and I finally dug it up. DailyMail.com, Chinese restaurant in Pennsylvania, that's where I live, caught with deer brains, heads, spines, and other unidentifiable animal body parts on its premises. It's an old Wawa that was changed into a Chinese restaurant, and I got pictures of the place. Actually, I got a picture of the place and some deer. No joke. New China House in Lititz, I think it says, Pennsylvania, was dealt 18 violations and ruled out of compliance of having deer heads and brains on the premises. The restaurant received the series of violations from the Pennsylvania Game Commission in December. Now, by the way, this is in the Daily Mail, UK Daily Mail, in my good home state of Pennsylvania. The eatery's owner, Chun, reportedly said that the deer parts were for soup that he was going to make for him and his wife and not for the customers. That's really disgusting either way. The inspectors found the skinned and whole tails, legs, muscle meats, spines, necks, and other unidentifiable parts, both raw and cooked, in the restaurant itself, though, as well. December 16th, 2015, inspection came after officials were tipped off. So, yeah, this is a whole article underneath of that. So, yeah, I promise you, though, that it's like winding down on my stories being totally gross. That was probably the last of the last. Yeah, so I'm going to this one plug, I guess, because Ryan likes this stuff too. My Ryan Logston. And again, thank you for that interview and that tip on that movie. They're promoting, it's not Ryan, it might be one of his friends, American Guinea Pig, Bloodshock, pre-sale now. These are like independent directors, and some of these movies are pretty, actually, sorry, I just bumped my mic, are actually pretty interesting. Some of these movies are just off the wall, though. They're like borderline snuff films. They're not real, trust me. But they are definitely the next horrible thing to it, though. All puns intended. So, there was one I wanted to read right off the bat to kind of like really just take an avalanche on these horrible stories. Here it is. It seems like the big thing now is there's a whole new line of stuff for Star Wars coming out, like toys and trinkets. And normally I do not buy that stuff. I've never bought one action figure or any Star Wars paraphernalia. And me and my friend Todd, we actually saw up in Wilkesboro area at this movie theater. It was a different, I think it's called Cinemark. We went and seen Star Wars The Force Awakens once again, and it was actually on, and was much better that way. We saw it on a regular screen the first time in 3D. This time we saw what's equivalent from Cinemark. They actually have their own, what do you call that? IMAX theater. It's not IMAX, but it's basically exactly the same thing with the extra big screen, the better sound, and blah, blah, blah. So we saw it on there. I was like, watching the film for the second time was definitely more rewarding than the first time. Watching on the big screen in 3D was even more so. I just got to grab a swallow. Or three. So anyway, one of the things I wasn't really impressed with at first was like, I got to get one just for the heck of it, was this Kylo Ren electronic voice changer helmet, as they call it, that was in the movie. Kylo Ren wears it, the actor who plays Kylo Ren in the Star Wars Force Awakens. So I was just kind of curious because I think it's just like for shits and giggles you buy it. And then also, if you keep it in good shape, it will definitely be a good collector's item. So anyway, Disney definitely capped this one, thank God, but it didn't stop it from happening. You can buy either a half mask. It's basically, it's like got a strap on the back, or you can get the full helmet. And the difference is actually really nothing. It's about, I know it's kind of steep. I got a little extra money, for Christmas. So it's money I can just basically blow out of the water. And I got money for unused vacation time, I believe, because I got a bigger check of a couple $100 this week, which is actually already paid for my hotel reservation. I'll have to talk about that in a minute, too, because I have to recommend this place that I stayed at. So anyway, it's like I looked on eBay, though, and I looked on Amazon, and eBay was mainly where you could really get, well, you can get them on Amazon, eBay, and other places. But you got these people who just buy this stuff, and then they resell it for a large markup. So they're selling this full, helmet kind of, or mask, or whatever you want to call it. Kylo Ren's supposed to be a little bit derived from Darth Vader's, but it looks different. And on eBay, though, they were selling them for like $200-$300. And it says by Hasbro, but there's two different types. There's ones that are directly from Hasbro. Obviously, they're all done, but there's ones directly you buy from Disney themselves, the Disney store. And those are directly because Disney now owns Star Wars. Now, the full helmet, I think they probably sell both. But what I could see is they're actually, Disney directly sells the full-size helmet. The other ones, they let Hasbro, they gave them the rights to sell the half helmets themselves. They both are being made by Hasbro, but they're licensed by Disney. Everything obviously is at this point because Disney owns Star Wars. Well, get this. The same helmet that's selling for $300 on eBay, Disney is selling the exact same thing, which they do have them in stock, because I'm looking at it right now, for $85, which sounds like a lot. But they are also offering free shipping at this point. So the shipping's $13. You're getting that for free. And if you have any other incentives like Disney points, you can get it cheaper yet. And if you keep it in the box, they're definitely worth something, because I think the Kylo Ren mask has actually drawn a lot of attention for a lot of people, collectors of all types. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm looking at it right now once again, the Disney store. I picked one up with some of my Christmas money, and it says it says locations in our warehouse, 2-day express, 3-day express, blah, 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 1 to 2 business days otherwise. Hey, it's not bad at all. Takes 3 AA batteries not included. Plastic, metal is what the helmet's made out of. That's pretty impressive. Looks really nice. I haven't seen it up close. I'll probably do it when I get it. It's strictly for collectors' reasons why I got that. I actually bought the Cinemark actually had the special limited edition, which was really not that bad. The 3D glass you can get to go see Star Wars. They actually had a mega cup you could get for I think it was $6. And trust me, the movie theater cups are large, so you're basically got a bucket of soda with a limited edition cup for $6, which you're going to pay $5 no matter what you get, soda or popcorn. But the 3D glasses, I know you bought them online. They were $12, or they said they claimed there would be $12 if you bought them, at the movie theater. Well, Cinemark, the one we went to, they were actually charging, if you bought popcorn or soda, you got the glasses, and we actually got 2 out of the 3, a friend and I, for $3 a pop, which normally they charge you $12 for one pair, and $9 if you buy it with a soda, or $6 with a soda. So the girl was really nice who rang us out, this girl that was at the Cinemark. She actually gave us each pair of glasses for $3, the limited edition Star Wars glasses. So that's really good. And the one I actually wore, because you get and visually see the movie much better with those glasses than ones they hand you in the movie theater, like the cheap ones they give you for these 3D movies, which are god-awful expensive. We actually hit the matinee, so it was $13. So I think around here at King of Prussia, if you wanted to see Star Wars on the large screen like we did at Cinemark, which was exactly equivalent to IMAX, that same movie around here would have cost both of us a piece $35 a ticket. So we went for $13 on a matinee at the Cinemark one. But yeah, I would check that out because Star Wars has got a lot of stuff. And by the way, the movie theaters, even around here, when I went and seen The Danish Girl, was sold out again, was packed. There was no parking. And obviously it's for Star Wars, which is in every movie, what do you call it? Every movie theater, I mean, not theater, but every... say it's got 12 movies for rolling. Well, 9 of them would be Star Wars. So it's still really getting a large audience. There was a kid, they said you're not allowed to bring lightsabers, according to what I read online, or wear helmets, but there was a kid who actually was running around with a lightsaber. Those plastic ones, doesn't matter. It's still considered a weapon, but they apparently let the kid go in with it, so I don't know. A little kid. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that plug because that's really cool, the Kylo Ren mask. I did order one, like I said. I'm using part of my Christmas money for that. Hey, by the way, I've been waiting to watch it. I could have watched it by now, but I'm holding out. The Sherlock Holmes special, it's been the first time. It was a 90-minute special with Benjamin Cumber. I can't say his name right. Plays Sherlock. They did one that was actually in Victorian London. And it said on this article I pulled up, Sherlock special, that special, it's been at least over a year or two since the last time they showed Sherlock. Special draws 8.4 million viewers. But anyway, it's going to be out in the theaters either tomorrow or on Tuesday. So if I'm not working, I didn't buy a ticket. I'm not going to buy a ticket until that day comes. Yeah, I know it's only a day or two away. It's not. I hope it does not sell out because I'll be really disappointed. because I have to wait to make sure I don't have to go to work. So I go to work, I'll be stuck with a ticket. Now, I can buy it online and just cancel it out. I've done that before. Anyway, it says Sherlock finally returns on our screens last night, which was a couple days ago. They did it, I think, during Christmas. I'm trying to look. January. Oh, it says January 2nd. Okay, so that was like last night. The 90-minute special drew the biggest crowd of the night at 34.7% audience share. And the new twist for the BBC One series, the tale of the abominable bride ditched the modern city to take us on a journey through Sherlock's Victorian London, complete with the new look of Mycroft's homes, which plenty enjoyed. So they went back to old school with the Sherlock Holmes. They took the same actors and they put them back into old school the way it was meant to be. Said that the overnight ratings are shy of 2014's New Year return. Then the third series opened. The empty hearse recorded an average of 9.2 million viewers. So they're going by the other years too, but this was like phenomenal. It almost was like double what they did. They must have something to say because, see, people do like, I love the modern version of Sherlock. I'm not too much on the American version of Sherlock Holmes. I know a lot of people like that show, don't get me wrong, but I personally like the one from the BBC. And I was even more so enthusiastic about them doing a retro one. And usually, unfortunately, with Sherlock, the other two series or three series they had, is it three? This would be the fourth, even though it's a standalone film, which will be in the movie theaters on the big screen in 2 days, I believe, tomorrow or the next day. Drew the largest crowd. It drew over double what they normally get, so that's trying to tell you something. So I have to decide the more I think about it. I can buy a ticket probably online, and then if something goes wrong, and then, work's more important to me going and seeing a movie, a show I can watch at home, then I'll just I could probably buy the ticket and also cancel it out. But I'll at least wait until at least tomorrow to decide on doing that. It was funny, actually. I went on vacation. After coming on vacation, I went on vacation. I needed a vacation after my vacation to go visit a friend up in Wilkesboro. I was down Cape May for a week before that. And, and I replaced my phone because I had issues. My phone's been acting up, my iPhone 6 Plus. So it got replaced, and the one that came out of the box that was supposed to be brand new, right out of the box had problems. And I didn't know until I actually physically left the store that it was acting up. And when I went up to Wilkesboro, it was not fun when it sent me, not only maps on Apple has been horrible. It's been horrendous. So that's not the biggest issue. It actually, the screen just basically flickers. It gets stuck. It jams. It flickers. Maps still does not work. I have to use Google's. It actually sent me to the Wilkesboro airport coming home. And it sent me down a one-way highway the wrong direction. So I had oncoming traffic. I almost got myself killed. So thank you so much, Apple, for having a shitty program as Maps as you made it, because it was not like that before. And trust me, I got stuck in a gate at the airport that I had to get myself out of, which was really scary as well. The whole thing was a complete nightmare with that. But, I have to go back to the Apple store tomorrow at 2 o'clock before I would go to work and see if I can get this fixed. If not, I'll either have to reschedule or tell work, hey, listen, I know Dad would be asking a lot, but I'm out for 3-4 months. Do you mind if I take a little personal time? Because I got to go and get my phone fixed again. That apparently continues to be a heap of shit. And I love Apple, but it's been a nightmare. Actually, my laptop I haven't used in years. I have 2 laptops, Apple laptops. One's my good one, and one's my piece of crap one, which I use to kick around. Well, the piece of crap one actually works far superior to than my shitty one, as I call it. It really isn't a piece of shit. It's a really good computer. Again, they're both Apples, but my crappy one, which got a 2-year warranty on it. I've got 1 more year left of warranty coverage. It was used when I bought it. It was beat up. Works phenomenal. It runs circles around my better one. My better one actually stopped working too. Having Apple problems where the touchpad, as a touchpad, it's a Mac Pro laptop, just stopped for some reason not to work. So I generally don't use the touchpad on my Apple. I generally use a trackball mouse, so it's not ever that big of an issue. But it runs like really sluggish, like dog shit too. So, and most of my Apple products, like I'm using right now my Mac Pro from 2010 that I replaced my other Mac with as my desktop. It's, the full-size tower one. Works circles most of the time. It has little issues once in a while. Not like my other stuff, though. So I don't know what's going on with Apple, but it's really taken a nosedive, in my opinion, in many ways. They make nice products when they want to, but they're not as good as they used to be. But anyway, hey, before I forget, I was telling you, I actually stayed at this place called the Extended Stay. And the guy kept on encouraging me, you got to give us a good report. You got to give us a good report. I was like, dude, I will give you a good report. For one thing, I went through Expedia to set up to make my reservations, which I should have learned by now. This happened at another hotel as well. You don't want to make your reservations online if you don't have to. And there's a reason why I'm saying that, though, because you're going to pay a lot more money. You're paying a third party to make your reservations for you, which you can't cancel out. So I made it through Extended Stay, and it was a good price. I got a good hotel. It was the cheapest one for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, which I stayed. And actually the day before, I stayed at 30th to 31st, and the 1st up in Wilkes-Barre at this Extended Stay. Can't remember what was located. Let me see if I can find it. I'll look at it under Expedia because it actually has my reservations. Anyway, when I'm looking for this right now, it was like $80 a night. And it was like, hey, this is really good. And when I got there, the guy said, well, you should have won through us because I would have gave you the same room, same everything you have for $50 a night. I was like, you got to be kidding. It was like, no. So I basically initially did a deal for 2 days, which was $200. And I said, listen, can I get the room for another day? And he said, I don't know, because they were busy on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day because people get drunk and party and stuff like that. So they were really, really booked on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Or, New Year's Eve into early in New Year's Day. But the hotel manager said, listen, I can keep you in the same room. He says, I'm going to give you the price I told you because that's what we are charging. And that was like literally $50. The other way, it was like $80, $90 a night through Expedia. So you know how that made me feel. It's like, wow. One way, all 3 nights would have cost me less than what I paid for 2 nights. Literally less than 2 nights. So I'm trying to look at, because I wanted to give them a plug. Okay. Where I had stayed was Extended Stay America, Wilkes-Barre Bar. Is it Barrow? Bar? Highway 315 in Wilkes-Barre. I definitely recommend it. It was very clean. It was from December 30th to January 1st, but I kept an extra day, so I left on January 2nd. But yeah, you're better off, and you know the hotel you're going to stay in, go directly through them. You're going to save yourself. I would have saved myself, because there was like a $40 difference. So for 3 nights, I should know this. That's 12. So I would have saved myself $120 just by going through the hotel. I mean, that's a big chunk of change. That's nothing to cry about. That is something to cry about. I literally, from going through Extended Stay, I spent extra $120, and that's money I really don't have to burn. So I was really upset about that. The room was really nice. They have a wooden floor for a kitchenette area they have, which is rather big. A lot of closet space, because even when I interviewed Ryan, he was impressed by that, and Todd. Nice living quarters, nice bathroom, and they give you everything you want it. they didn't make a big fuss. The only thing is they did not have maid service. They had a maid on duty, but they weren't cleaning. So if you needed stuff, and I'm not a dirty person, so I had no problem with that. I honestly do. I personally don't like the maids in my room. I'd rather just have them, give me towels and whatever else I need. And it had a full-size kitchenette, so didn't have any complaints about that. Anyway, enough of that. I think my friend told me about this, Todd. Might be Ryan too, but yeah, there's a whole thing. They have everything mapped out, going back to Star Wars for the next couple years. And one is the next movie that's coming out at the end of this year is going to be called Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This is going to basically tie people over while they're waiting for the next Star Wars movie. So this is in the Star Wars universe, but Disney has an in-betweener movie, which would also include Boba Fett. But yeah, the next 4 years is mapped out with every Star Wars movie that does now Disney universe has incorporated into the Star Wars universe, which would be Rogue One at the end of this year, I believe. And then that would lead you into the second movie that will be the follow-up for The Force Awakens, which, again, I didn't like Force Awakens the first time. I honestly did not like it at all. Second time I saw it, I was actually rather impressed, especially on a better screen. For those who did not know this, on comicbookmovie.com, Jason Wingreen, voice of Boba Fett, has died. So sorry to hear about our loss in the Star Wars universe. Didn't know what the guy looked like. Said a picture of him. He just strictly did the voice though. And it says Wingreen was 95 years old. So I am so sorry to hear that. Says, oh, okay, I didn't know this. There was other things he was on. A lot of things. Harry, the bartender on All in the Family, a Chicago police captain on The Untouchables, the train conductor on The Twilight Zone, because I thought he looked familiar, and Dr. Link on Star Trek. So he did a lot of different things, but he was well known for the character of Boba Fett, the voice of Boba Fett. So that's kind of interesting because he's a white male. And there was some woman who was going off about half black, half white woman one time about how it was racist when they had James Earl Jones play Darth Vader's voice, and that he would, the character was all in black. There was discriminatory against blacks, making them look bad. Well, okay, this man was a white male playing the voice of Boba Fett, and Boba Fett was a bounty hunter. So I'd like to see where that lady would take that one. And either way, I'm just sorry to hear about the loss of that character, that man, which I just lost. I just actually shut it down, so I apologize. It's been plastered all over Facebook. Yeah, it's just a shame. Oh, I was a really cute girl when I was in, me and my friend the other day, we ate at this Johnny Rockets. I think it's called Johnny Rocket. Yeah, it's called Johnny Rockets. It's an old retro thing right across from where we went and seen the movie of Star Wars the second time up in near Wilkesboro. She was a really cute girl. She was really friendly. Pleasant to talk to, and actually all the girls in there were very nice, very friendly, which was nice. Johnny Rockets. Unfortunately, I didn't get my tradition. My parents do this every year. My parents and I, we get pork and sauerkraut as a good luck charm type thing for New Year's. So I end up getting the next thing I could think of, because Johnny Rockets unfortunately did not have pork and sauerkraut, but it was really good. I got a hot dog and a rather big hot dog. I have a picture on my Facebook page. And no sauerkraut, though, because usually pork and sauerkraut, hot dogs and sauerkraut all come from a pig. So, hey, I thought this is the closest thing I'm going to get. Yeah, I apologize. The reason I brought that up, too, was because I forgot the name of Boba Fett. So, now I just wanted to say I'm sorry once again about that. So, Let's put Boba Fett dies because they know what I'm talking about. Okay, Jason Wingreen. Wow. They show what he looked at because he was 95, and he looked much older than the picture they put up as a publicity shot on this one article I read. But again, I feel so bad. Poor Jason Wingreen passed away. A lot of us in the comic book geek universe as well will feel his loss. I'm looking at a friend just sent me an article, so thank you, Todd. This will take me a little off. Say hello to 2016's first horrible customer, the bitchy waiter. Say hello to 2016's first horrible customer leaves a reply. It didn't take long for 2016 to burp up its first horrible customer of the year. Year did it. Page for a restaurant called Kilroy's Downtown Indy in Indianapolis, Indiana. A woman named Holly Jones. I got to see that. So Todd did send me this. It says Holly Jones of Kilroy's Downtown Indy. So I might have said that wrong, so I said it right this time. I will never go back to this location for New Year's Eve after the way we were treated when I spent $700 and having our meal ruined by watching a dead person being wheeled out of from an overdose. My night has been ruined. So somebody died from an overdose on New Year's Eve. Every year we have come to Kilroy's to enjoy New Year's Eve, and tonight we were screamed at and had the manager walk away from us while we were trying to figure out our bill being messed up. The manager also told us someone was dying. More important than us being there, making us feel like our business didn't matter. Well, I hate to say it, somebody dying would be a little bit more of an issue than you complaining over your bill. No offense, little lady. But I guess allowing the junkie in the building to overdose on your property is more important than paying the customer who are spending a lot of money. Our waitress when we were trying to ask about the bill being messed up also said, "What do you want me to do? Fucking pay your bill for you?" So that's literally the response the woman actually gave. I agree with that. That's just unprofessional of the waitress to say, using the fuck word. Yes, I pointed away. I am not kidding. That's literally what she said the waitress said. What a great way to talk to a paying customer. I get that working on New Year's Eve is stressful, but being a complete bitch to us all night knowing you get an automatic gratuity is not right. So in a lot of ways, I do have to side. I apologize. Holly Jones, the woman who wrote this, I do agree with her. Yeah, somebody does not treat you like a piece of dog shit. I've had that happen. I think that's what brought up with Todd sending me that article. So I mentioned the one place this guy who's homosexual, I would assume, treats me like a piece of dog shit. I try to be as nice as pie to the guy, but out of consideration, and he is just very inconsiderate, to say the least. And it's not the only person I've had an encounter like that was also homosexual, and I'm not. So just to clarify that. Todd sent me another one, so I have to like this one. Brooklyn restaurant getting rid of tipping, paying servers $27 an hour. Well, guess what? No offense, your business is going to go down to dog shit. If you're charging people, if you're paying your people $27 an hour, that's more than most people are getting paid. No offense. The bottom line is you're going to be raising your prices on your food, and you're going to lose a lot of fucking business, folks. So that's really stupid, but what do you expect? Stupid is what stupid does, or whatever. Anyway, there was an article. This was really good, too, because I'm a big Doctor Who fan. What do you expect? Yes, it's on Doctor Who. DoctorWhoWorldwide.com. Video of the week, possibly the best William Hartnell impersonation you will ever hear, and it really is. They don't show the guys. I think he does those radio things. They do these Doctor Who radio shows. You can buy or purchase whatever. They're like audio books, so to speak. And anyway, it's called, the guy's name is Wink Taylor's Doctor Who impression. Sounds just like Bill Hartnell, William Hartnell, whatever. I love William Hartnell. I know his voice very distinctly because I've watched enough of William Hartnell's stuff. And honestly, this is the best one I've heard yet. It is very, very convincing that it does sound like William Hartnell. So, yeah, I have to tip my hat on that one. This guy does sound like William Hartnell. God, I got to look at that next. Hey, this is another one from Doctor Who Worldwide. I saw this other day. I did make my comment. Probably get taken down, too. This gentleman named Sean Evans, an actor, wants to be the next Master. And I actually did write back. It was posted January 3rd, which in England would be yesterday for them and today for us for last of my show, before we change over to the 4th. He basically, hey, that would be excellent. I kind of would like to see a male character play the character that was meant to be a male character. And that was for 40 years. I like the actress who plays the Master now, but it was never intended to be a woman. It was always intended to be a male. And I basically did put, in consideration, I actually wrote this, I'd like to see another male underneath the response to this article. And I said, in consideration to Roger Delgado, who the man died, he never was able to complete the series as the character who was meant to be. Because he was supposed to come back, Delgado, the character was actually supposed to come back for a couple more episodes. That character was actually supposed to be killed off anyway. But Delgado died in real life, so they just made the character in hiatus and brought him back as a different actor and continued to do that, always making him male. And the trademark was Delgado had a goatee, and that became part of the trademark too with the other characters, which they got rid of that. And then they just went all the way and made him a woman, which has made it ridiculous to me. It says, continuing the recent spat of the actor stating that they'd like to appear in Doctor Who in some capacity. Endeavor actor Sean Evans has now revealed he too would like to appear in the show as the next Master. So I really hope that is true. I hope they actually take that in consideration. Yeah, we need another male. I mean, because it's just too much political correctness. It's gone way, way too far. They need to kind of calm down on that stuff before they destroy everything that is, held. I can't even think of the right word. Held. Or, I'll just let it go because I can't even think of the correct word. Hey, anyway, this was pretty funny. A friend sent this to me, Todd. Mandatory.com. Texas college girl drives around in a Barbie Jeep after her DWI arrest. This actually might have came up before because I thought I saw this before. Tara Monroe, it really is Monroe, by the way, a 20-year-old college student at Texas University is making the best of her terrible situation. She put herself into having her license suspended for refusing to take a breathalyzer test by driving around in a sweet Barbie Jeep. So it's a little ridiculous, but, you have 2 feet. I probably, you're a young girl, you're 20 years old. Why don't you use your feet? You don't need a fucking Barbie dog thing. That's going to be a lot slower. Obviously, she's doing it for attention. I mean, you could walk faster. You can take that fucking Barbie thing around. No offense. She's a very cute girl. I just think it's just ridiculous. It's partially it's ridiculous, and partially maybe she's just that fucking lazy too. Because she's twice the size of this damn thing, and she's only humiliating herself, which actually makes it. I'm gonna follow her because it's just ridiculous. Again, she's a very cute girl, but that's just fucking lazy. I'm sorry. Even I'm not that lazy. Well, I'm not even close to being remotely that lazy. Hey, on a lighter note, I hate to put this on the same page as the lazy girl that was cute. I finally convinced my one friend Todd to watch Supergirl. He's been watching it, and he said he actually does like it. But it is on tomorrow night. Well, it'll be today by the time I put this show up. And they're showing a picture. And I really like those characters. He finally was convinced the girl, she's kind of a plain Jane looking girl, but she does a lot of justice for the character. I'll tell you that much. She does a lot of justice for that character she plays as Supergirl. She's a great actress. She, proved herself as being an excellent Supergirl. It's not all about, you got to be some hot supermodel to play the character. You got to be a good actress. And she's very cute, don't get me wrong. But she just brings justice. I mean, it sends chills down my back when I watch her play Supergirl because it's that good. So I can't wait because I've been waiting for this to come back now. The season breaks over apparently sooner than I expected, which I'm not complaining about. So I definitely want to see the next episode of Supergirl. And it's going to be on for a full season now. They're only going to do a couple episodes now. They're doing a full thing. Hey, speaking of which, now I'm kind of confused still. I thought I had this settled, but they're pretty smart. Stars did a pretty swift thing where you can't. There's a show on there I want to watch, and it's called Ash versus the Evil Dead. And normally Stars will just submit their shows to when they're on, especially when they're over, they submit them to Amazon, Netflix. So if you're if you own those, you don't have to purchase Stars separately. Well, Stars has gotten to a point, I know Rush Limbaugh used to talk about this happening with HBO and some other cable networks. The cable networks, like the ones that show movies, are separating themselves from the cable company and allowing you to buy separately HBO and Stars. Well, the only one who has officially done that now that I know of is Stars. And by them doing that, they've lifted that thing where, okay, if you have, which I have both, Netflix and Amazon Prime, they lifted that fact now that, okay, hey, I'll just wait for it to come on Netflix or Amazon Prime. Well, it is on Amazon Prime, but you got to pay an additional $8 a month and be a subscriber to Stars in order to get Ashes versus Evil Dead. Now, this is a dilemma because that's just more money I'm going to be spending on another TV show, and I don't watch enough Stars to make it worth my while. Now, it is cool because you don't have to have a cable subscription, but it's a catch-22, but you do have to have broadband, so you are paying for that, though. In addition to the cable, not paying the cable bill, you are still getting tacked on because you have to have a broadband network connection in order to watch the shows. So it's costing you probably more money in a roundabout way, which if it was just, hey, keeping the Netflix and the Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime, I buy most of my personal needs stuff, toiletry things, that means toothpaste and other things. It's much cheaper just to get it overnighted to the house than it is to go down the street and buy it. And most of the stuff that I like, you can't buy in the stores. It's just, I buy special toothpaste and stupid stuff like that. So it's cheaper and it's easier to get, and it gets shipped right to your house and it's free. So, Amazon Prime's great because you get the TV shows and the movies, and plus you get the discounts and the overnight shipping. Netflix is $8 a month, which I don't mind paying, because every once in a while I'll go through a couple movies or TV shows I want to watch, and I get my money's worth of just watching one or two of the shows. And there's always going to be something on those that I'm going to be interested in watching. Now, spending that extra cash, $8 a month, just to watch one show, and you get stuck with a contract with Stars, I don't know. That's kind of confusing. And also a waste of money. Now, they give you a 7-day free trial period, which by that, I could probably watch the whole series, but that's just, I normally never do that with most of the shows I watch them like a little bit at a time. One or two shows I have marathon in the past, I will admit to that, which right now I've taken a break because I was on a second vacation break. Was a show called Girl Meets World, because that show really just got me with that one episode. But normally I don't marathon shows. Normally I don't. Trust me, I don't. There's a handful I do. Anyway, I am waiting for this to happen. I should have read this next, actually, on Doctor Who Worldwide. We asked Doctor Who Worldwide readers who they like to see as the next showrunner for, being the future, I guess. It says executive producer because Stephen Moffat wants to step down. I don't wish to do this. I actually kind of want to see him leave anyway. No offense to him. He's probably a great guy. He's done a lot for the show. He's brought it back, to some of the stuff I remember growing up with Doctor Who. He's done an excellent job with helping out with Sherlock, the TV series. It's a little ridiculous what he's done with both Doctor Who and Sherlock because there's some little traits that the characters have in both shows. The way they feed their lines is exactly the same, and that gets really irritating. But at the same token, I would love to see somebody else take over, step behind the wheel of Doctor Who and get a fresh new, because generally, Doctor Who in the old days never kept a director more than 4 years at a time, at the most. Give or take, I think the longest running producer to date probably would be John Nathan Turner. And he really just drugged that, the producers, the people who are producers, if they're on too long, they have a tendency just to wear the show really thin. That's what happened even with John Nathan Turner. That's why I'm saying that. But generally, if you keep the directors or producers on for like a short period of time, and continue to change them every 3 or 4 years, that keeps the show very fresh. That's what happened in the past. But when you have one producer, obviously, because he's kind of saying in a roundabout way that Moffat is just getting tired of doing it. And I think John Nathan Turner was the same way. They just end up like, okay, well, I can't quit the job. I'm just going to make sure the job just goes away from me by making like shitty decisions on how the show is going to ran. And that's what happened in the past. And I can see that's happening again, or will happen again. And don't get me wrong, because I really like who he picked as the Doctor Who, which is Peter Capaldi. I think he's doing an excellent job. But there's just certain decisions he made that are just plain fucking ridiculous, and I'd like to see the man, keep his decency, dignity, and walk away while the show still has a really obviously high fan base before he starts like literally getting so frustrated he's just going to destroy the show unintentionally, not even knowing he's doing it, and I think that's going to end up happening. So anyway, hey, that's great because that was like the last of my stories. So that being said, this is great for me because I can say, folks, have a good night. I hope you enjoyed my show. If I can, in the future, get any more guests, that would be excellent because I would really like to see that happen. But it seems like this was a pretty strong show. I hope the sound quality is good. It looks like it's doing pretty good for a change. I will play back. But thanks a lot. Sorry I wasn't here, so I'm saying it now for what will be Monday by the time this goes up, that I hope everybody had a happy New Year and a safe one. And I hope I will continue to do shows as I do now because they actually help me vent my frustrations. And so I won't do... oh, God, I can't think. I'm sorry. I was going to make a little... Not even a joke, because I tell you, I feel a little bit like him all the time. I'm trying to think. Give me a moment, because I bought the helmet. Wars villain. No. Is it Kylo Ren? Yep. Yeah, I mean, this show, this is what I was going to say. This show helps me from being, having the extremely strong temper that Kylo Ren has in Star Wars Force Awakens. Because, trust me, that is very realistic with his temper, by the way. Yes, that temper that he has... The only difference is between me and him, Kylo Ren actually has the Force against on his side too, as far as the spiritual powers to move things and destroy things. But excuse me, in the past, yes, I've actually physically done as much damage without a lightsaber that Kylo Ren does in Star Wars Force Awakens. And that was what I was going to say. This show actually keeps me from becoming the Kylo Ren that is in Force Awakens. So that's why I like to continue doing this. Now, if I'm off there, I got to decide what I want to do in the next couple weeks. Because in a few weeks, my birthday will be around again. I will be 1 year older. I'll be 49, I guess. I'm 1 year away from 50. So, yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my show. Signing off for now. This is going to be a pretty lengthy one, obviously. And I will see you next time.